Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Drama is Life, where we talk about mental health in past, present, and future tense. The purpose of us having these conversations with mental health and social health is where we are hoping to increase awareness and decrease the stigma of mental health in our community, preferably or particularly in African American communities and faith based communities. If you want to learn some information on tonight, join us, like, share. This is not to replace any therapy session that you would have with a professional that you're working with individually, but this is something that can definitely help maybe complement that. So I am Theresa White. Hello, your Drama is Life host on tonight and every Monday night. I am the CEO and founder of In Time Creative Counseling Services, and I am a licensed clinician, registered drama therapist, and an addiction counselor. I've been doing therapy for 15 years. So information that I give you is based off my experience and my expertise. So I just want to talk to y'all tonight. So as y'all come in, please comment. Let me know that you guys are here. Say hello. I just want to have a conversation about plans. This is just my moment to be transparent. Usually we have this wonderful, or what I would consider wonderful topics that we can have conversations. But I want y'all to know. Let me tell you about my day. This is what tonight's live is going to be about, my day. And just having a conversation with that's not what I had planned. And so I thought, let me just bring my own personal experience to the live because that's what this is about anyway, right? So we can talk about how we handle different things. So please let me know how many, tell me yes, give me a thumbs up in the comments if you really like things to be fully planned, your day fully planned from start to finish. And a thumbs down, or not a thumbs down, but just say no if you really are not a plans person. You're really not someone that likes to have everything planned out. I will let you know that um, as you're putting your answers in the comments, that I am somebody that sometimes, and actually, I think I have to be honest with myself that as I get older, that I actually enjoy plans. Okay, I see some thumbs up. Okay, I actually enjoy plans. I used to say, well, no, I just want to be spontaneous, just let stuff happen as it happens. But as I get older, I realize that plans are a blessing. To have stuff planned out is a blessing. But we're gonna have a conversation tonight about what happens when that's not what you had planned. Things are happening in your life, in your day that you did not plan. So, and I would say that even though I thought when I was younger that I was not a planner, I think when I really kind of checked back before, I really was. I mean, from early age when they would ask everybody, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I knew what I wanted to be. I knew, actually, I think I knew what school I wanted to go to. I knew what major I needed to have. All this as a child, and that's one thing that did not go as planned. I knew I had plans with my best friend. We was going, everybody had these plans. We're gonna get married around the same time. We're gonna have children around the same time. We're gonna live in the same city. We're gonna be, living in the same street. We're gonna live together until we get married. Like all these things, right? We have plans, and they sound really wonderful. And if anybody has ever heard the statement, like if you ever want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I think I have, like, I'm the poster face of that because let me tell you about my day. That's what I'm gonna do. So we can talk about what you do when plans change or when things don't go as planned. Um, so I said I'm going to be better. Today's Monday, and we're going to start the week wonderfully right. I'm gonna wake up earlier than I usually do. I go to bed like I'm supposed to, and wake up like I'm supposed to. And I was like, won't say supposed to. I actually have planned. So hence that word planned in my mind. I planned to be woke at a certain time because I had things that I wanted to get done early this morning. And let me just first say that the first plan that I had did not go as well, and that was my fault because alarm went off like it was supposed to, and I woke up, but I was still a little sleepy, so I laid back down because I had time. I had extra time because I woke myself up early. And even though in my mind I was saying, Theresa, get out the bed. Theresa, don't go back to sleep. Theresa, don't lay back down. My body was like, and I'm getting back in the bed and I'm putting the cover back over. Um, so that already did not go as planned. Um, and it wasn't like starting off a horrible thing. It just kind of threw off what I had planned. And I will say that that one plan that did not go as I wanted it to kind of did a whole like what you call I guess a ripple effect, to my day. So on the way, and I think it's just not been today. It's really started um, a couple of weeks ago. I think there's been a pattern of me planning things and thinking it's going to go a certain way, and it does not happen that way. And so, long story short, I was on the way driving, and I already had left early enough, right? Left plenty of time to get to work and early time. And anybody who live in Terre Haute, because we're located in Terre Haute, for those who do not know, there are trains. And maybe you live in a different city where there's trains, but I'm going to tell you right now that I've never lived in a city that has more trains than this city. And so I'm driving, and it's not like the train was already on the track, y'all. It was. So I got to rub my eyebrows. This is what I do when things don't go like I plan. So if anybody else had these moments where you kind of rub your forehead or you rub the temples or you kind of rub things, I rub because I'm telling y'all, I was not even like 20, 30 feet. And it's just slowly moving. This is how you know like stuff is like trying to be set up on purpose. It's just like slowly moving. And I'm driving like, please don't cross the track. Please don't cross the track. Why did it cross the track? Okay, so it crossed the track, y'all. I said, okay, gotta go a certain way. So it was like, I can't go this certain way because this street is blocked off. So I had to go down a little bit further. I mean, so what I'm saying, even pausing before I get to the next part of my day, I wasn't upset. I was just kind of like, okay, well, and I was telling myself, okay, well, you left early enough for a reason, evidently, because clearly stuff is not going as planned. So go up to 9th Street to go over and come on down Ohio, right? And I see a couple of thumbs up. The people like plans. Yes, for plans. I haven't seen any no's. People don't like plans or, planning things. But I looked at coming down the street. Hello, hello. I want to say hello to everybody. BJ, Alex, Terry, Alexandria. Hello, you guys. And y'all know about these trains. I see you saying yes, the trains. Okay. So again, I'm trucking. I'm like, okay, got a little bit of time going down the street, going Ohio. About to turn on the street that goes to my office. And why they're trucks, working trucks, I don't know, because it was raining this morning that all of a sudden power lines went out. I don't know. I was like, so derail number 2. Okay. Probably derail number 3 because I didn't wake up like I was supposed to, but derail number 3. And so I'm going down the street and, going around. And I'm like, I could have been at work like 20 minutes ago. Okay. Go around, come on in and come to work. Okay. Yay. Okay. The day starts, appointments start, great appointments, meet some great people today. I love my clients that I work with. And so meeting people and having my sessions. And usually I'm used to session. I have a skeleton kind of view, and I don't like to use the word skeleton. I kind of have an outline of what I'm going to do during sessions, but I'm always open to letting God have his way in my sessions because I never know what people are going to bring into the space. I may think that we're going to talk about, problems 1, 2, and 3, and you may bring in a whole new issue that's like, this happened this week. We need to talk about it. I need to be ready to shift and change. Now, what's interesting about that is that I have the skills to do that. And I've learned that over the time that I've been a therapist in my sessions. So you would think that I would like change plans, not a problem. That's not true for me. So I had to catch myself because even before I got into my office, I felt kind of we say get hot under your collar. I was getting frustrated. Like, this is crazy. Like, what is happening this morning? You ever start asking that question? Like, what's going on in my life? Why is it like, it seems like sometimes that things are happening in your life planned, as if the plans too that you had planned, as if there was a plan to thwart those, to derail them, like on purpose, which maybe it is, right? Again, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And so I was like, Lord, what is really happening today? But again, sessions were going really nice. I had a plan because I had a couple of time openings in my schedule. Was going to work with my staff to be able to get product out for this week, and because just kind of let you people know that I do have a grief recovery journal coming out, and so I was trying to finish up some things. I said, okay, I got this planned time in my mind. Technology did not, and I do mean did not, have any respect for my plans. Technology was very disrespectful to me today, y'all. I mean, like, again, do you see this happening? This is what I do because I have to rub it. Because if I don't, like the thoughts that go on in my mind when plans don't go right. Now, I say all of that because we've all probably dealt with the issue of really, really excited. Like I felt really accomplished. Let me first say that. I think that's why it was so disappointing at times when my plans didn't go like I wanted them to. I felt so accomplished that I had this set out plan. On my way, even before I got to the train, I got a phone call because I got some appointments and I forgot about an appointment. And I was not a client, but forgot about something that was happening this morning. I was like, oh my goodness. And again, if I'd have got up like I was supposed to, or like I planned to, I wouldn't have forgot, this situation at home. I would have been like, oh, okay, I need to do A, B, and C. Nope. But because I decided to lay back down, it started like this whole, snowball of my day. And I say that because sometimes that happens in our emotions, right? We can have 1, 2, 3 things that just don't go like we want it to go. Maybe they didn't put enough lettuce on your sandwich, or, you asked for mustard and they gave you ketchup. And you really planned on eating this and it sounds good. And I know I'm talking about food, but just for example, like this is what happens in our lives. Things are shifting and constantly. And it's like we planned in our minds. We have this set, criteria, guidelines, to-do list, whatever you want to call them. And I had this today, so I felt accomplished because I'm like, usually I just kind of go with the flow. But I really had this set up and it started to I felt disappointed when the first thing train kind of happened. I'm like, okay, try to, pick myself back up and it's gonna be okay. Second thing happened, trucks in the way. Okay, let me try to pick myself back up. And I'm saying that because I'm encouraging myself, like it's okay, you still got time. But when it seems to be thing after thing after thing, sometimes that can be discouraging, where it starts to affect how we think, and we'll start to turn what's happening outward to an inward thing. Why is this happening to me? Right? Like, am I not meant to? And so we'll start making it as if it's a personal attack when plans don't go or when things don't happen as planned. And I say that because that's a lot of times how we have response. Anxiety rises, heart rate rises, tension. Maybe you get headaches because you're thinking, sometimes overthinking about a situation or a circumstance that's shifting or not going the way we planned. But I want to encourage you that you have been dealing with, and I want to, for those who may be like, I really don't like it when plans change and I struggle and I have anxiety and my stress level gets up and I get frustrated and angry and all the things. You have been dealing with change since the time you were conceived, since you were born. Moments, seconds, days, hours, you've been dealing with change. Everything is changing. Your skin is changing. Your thoughts are changing. And I say that because sometimes we look at change as if it's a bad thing. Nothing can get in the way of my plans because as we talked about last week, the perfectionism happens. Well, it has to be perfect. And that's when that comes in because it revs up that anxiety. So thank you, Alex, for the grief recovery journal. So yes, I will let you know more about that. You can definitely get one if you would like one. It's going to help with grief recovery, grief and loss. So I just, today was really one of those days that took a little bit more effort to stay focused. And I will say sometimes a lot more effort to not get discouraged. And I will say that sometimes when we feel discouraged or feel like, okay, things are just not going as planned, it's really a fight to not give in to that. And I'll say give in even physically, where it's like, okay, well then forget it. Like you'll just throw the whole day away. And that's not the intent. That just may be a moment You call those people like what they say, like sometimes people look at the jar as half empty. You got the pessimism, I think I'm saying that right. Yes. People who can see stuff in a negative way. You can see the jar is half empty. Somebody who's an optimist, who's, can see the jar is half full. And then say somebody who's a realist because they'll see the jar that just has water in it. Right? But I want you to be able to say to any situation when things don't go as planned, how do you handle it? So that's a question out there for you all who are watching. And even as you watch the replay, if you're not watching the live, how do you handle change? Where do you feel it in your body? And so I want you to just take a moment to think about that. Where does it get tense? Does your heart rate? Do you start thinking and throwing the whole day away? Oh my God, get this day. It's going to be a horrible day. And I say that because that can be something that happens so swiftly that we don't catch it. This is why I shouldn't have ever tried to. This is why I don't plan things. And we'll start to actually speak negative on our day because one situation happened, one issue took place that was not meant to thwart your whole day. Maybe it was just so that you wouldn't drive by a power line and get electrocuted. Theresa, so there's workers over here who's taking care of the issue, and they got there before you did. And so, because I'm a woman of faith, I definitely believe in the scripture when it says the Lord goes before me. So sometimes I have to really work to shift my viewpoint and to speak life into situations that is trying to bring so much discouragement and trying to get me to use my own tongue to speak death over my day. So I want to encourage you that I know sometimes plans don't, and a lot of times plans don't go as you intend. Nothing's wrong with planning. Planning can definitely help alleviate a lot of problems. People make plans for school, plans for career, plans for college, plans for their family. It's okay to have a plan because a plan then lets you know some steps to take, some action points, and that's great. But I also want you to plan for your emotional response when things don't go as set as you would like them to, because that's what throws us off. We don't plan for our system to have a response because we are so set that it's going to happen just like I planned it. And that can be a false narrative, I guess I would say, because you have to also consider that things are happening that you're typically planning about are not only including you. I'm driving down the street with all kind of other people. I have to my car. If I get in my car, is it gonna start? Like, I don't know all that the external things that can affect, but even if it does, that doesn't mean that my internal has to start to break down because the outward is not going as smooth as I would like it to. This may be a time, and I'm going to encourage somebody, this may be a time for you to consider a place of growth. And I had to think about that for myself. And so I've been really working on not speaking death over things, especially when I get frustrated. I've caught myself that I do more complaining when I'm frustrated than I realize. So this is my transparent one-on-one moment. And sometimes we do that. And when I say complain, that complaint is a cousin of death. And I say that like death as in, or cursing. It's complaining, that's what I meant, not death. But complaining is a cousin of cursing. And I don't mean cursing as in profanity, but cursing as in speaking negative things over yourself or over a situation. Like I said, it's somebody like, oh, throw the whole day away. It's going to be a horrible day already. I can tell. Well, no, it just was a couple of trucks. They had to take care of some power lines. That just saved my life. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't want to go up an extra block, but I'd rather do that than having the issues with driving over something that could have been an issue for me or saving lives from other people. Thank you that train happened because maybe it stopped me from, having an issue with somebody who was going to come run a red light. Again, there are a lot of things and situations that we can't see the whole picture. We see our little list, and I will say little because, our little list, because with the list that we make, there's a whole world that's involved in that. Whether you're involved in family, you don't know if your children are going to wake up and not feel well that day, or if they're going, wake up and be bubbly, be tired, be groggy. You don't know if your boss is going to be there at work, or if your computers. are going to work. Technology is going to do what it's supposed to do. There's all kind of things that can come in and that, and thwart your day or plans that you have set up. That doesn't mean that you begin to complain or curse over yourself or over your day. And I say that because sometimes people use profanity as well, but it may not be, that may be a time again of learning to grow. And I say that because sometimes it can go from my food order didn't go like I wanted, or I didn't get to work like I wanted, or this project didn't go like I wanted. But I want you to know that every moment, even the ones that don't go like we wanted to, is always a moment of growth and reflection. And so it took me actually pausing saying, do I want to just sit here and complain the whole day? No, that don't feel good either. Even though I didn't like this, some things that I planned for that day or for today didn't go like I wanted it. I also didn't want to compound the emotional response that I was starting to have with frustration and discouragement trying to set in, to start compounding that with complaining, because the scriptures say in all things, even things that don't go as planned, in all things give thanks. And it says that because this is the will of God concerning you. And the reason for that, because everybody knows that you love a grateful heart. Even if my gift wasn't as, I may not have got the brand new fancy 2022 car, I am thankful that I have a running vehicle. And that kind of attitude sets your day off so much better than complaining about what you don't have. Because complaining never got nobody anything. And I want you to think about that if you're a parent. If you are a parent or any relationship of a loved one, imagine if your spouse or your child or, a mother, father, sister, brother, whoever was just complaining, I ain't got no bike. I ain't never had no bike. Nobody ever want to buy me no bike. Is that going to make me want to go out there and buy you a bike? No. People actually start leaving and getting away from you like, oh my goodness, Theresa's always complaining, right? Like, that doesn't make someone want to give you what you're complaining about. Because simply, if there's an issue that you need, if you want a bike, ask for a bike. A lot of things in our lives we don't have because we don't ask for them. We think, well, people should know I said it. And I used to say that. I'm saying this again. This is my transparent moment day. That I used to say, well, you should know. And again, reflection moment where God would come in and say, well, did you say anything? Did you, who was supposed to know? And my spouse is always telling me, like, I do have a degree in mental health, but I'm not a mind reader, and neither is anybody else. And so people don't know what you're thinking. Even though at times we try to give signals, and try to give hints, especially when it comes to gifts and things that we may desire. Sometimes you gotta just outright say, I would really like that dress, and my birthday's coming up. Will you buy that dress for me? If you have it in your means, and then you move on. Now they can just put a bug in somebody's ear. It's like, maybe, yeah, I'm gonna buy that dress. I want to get that dress, and maybe they get something else for you. And then you be thankful, be grateful, because again, a complaining mouth doesn't get anything, and neither does an ungrateful heart. So we have to be sure that even when things don't go as planned, and I say that because it can go from, as I said before, the little minute things of my day. And I say minute because they were not big deals in the scheme of safety and concerns. But there's also things don't happen as planned, such as life. Huge situations in our health, people's health can go not as planned. I didn't plan to, break something. I didn't plan to get sick. I didn't, people don't have plans for these things, or they're not going as planned. And sometimes it's death shows up. And even if we can know somebody's ill or, getting older and they're saying, okay, I'm ready to go at that stage of life, death is still death. And sometimes it does not show up. And we feel like, oh, I was prepared for that. That was, no. There are a lot of things that happen and we say, that's not what I planned. I didn't plan for this. But I want you to be encouraged that you can still reflect and grow in those moments, even at the height of intensity of emotions with grief or with death. And so that's what I want to encourage you today. So if it's a Monday, and I know it's a Monday, and it's the beginning of the month, welcome to August, everybody. If you made it here, it's definitely a blessing because a lot of people did not. So again, things may not be going as planned, but I want you to know that the end of that plan is always life. The end of whatever's happening is always a good thing. But we have to speak the right things so that we don't get stuck in emotions that are not serving us. And I'm not saying that don't have a response, because you could have a irritated response. I didn't like that somebody came out, or had me waiting 20 minutes. I understand those kind of things. But I want you to also be aware that don't start speaking and curses and complaining, because that's just going to compound the emotional response that's already not serving you. That's going to continue to not serve you throughout the day. If I want my day to go horrible, I can absolutely speak that it's going to be horrible. But if I want my day to go better and better and better, if I want blessing on blessing on blessing, as the song says, then I have to start changing what I'm thinking in those moments, and also speaking what I want. Because sometimes leaving it up here ain't good either. That's why planning is such a nice thing. Because sometimes we're like, well, I thought it. I thought I told. That's why people say make a list. So planning is not the bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But make sure that things don't just stay up here. It's okay to think something, but make sure we get it on paper. Ideas are great, but they don't serve nobody that's when they stay up here. And I'm gonna tell you that as a therapist, there are so many ideas, so many creative things that flows in my, oh, that'd be a great idea. I'm gonna write that down. And then I get to tomorrow and be like, oh man, I forgot what I didn't write it down and I forgot it. And that could have been a really great service to somebody else. It could have been a really great tool that could have been a blessing for somebody. But I let that idea stay here instead of getting it out, as the scripture says, to write the vision and make it plain. Because we all know that ain't nobody giving nobody no money without a written business plan. Most banks are not doing that. So it's important, again, to get it out from here and write it out. So if there's moments where you're struggling, plans are changing, and you're like, what is happening in my life right now? Let there be a moment that you sit back and reflect and think about, how am I responding? How am I thinking? Am I letting something outward control my day, control my emotional response that's lasting longer than I wanted to? Now, again, a moment in time is definitely appropriate. We're going to have moments where we're not smiling all the time. And every emotion has its goal. That's a different life for a different day. So, but at the times that, this did not go as I planned. And it's okay to acknowledge that and just say, that was not what I planned. And I've said it in sessions before. Well, that didn't go as I planned, but a lot of times, 99% of the times, it went even better. It went even better because, again, that reflection moment, when I get to sit back and think about it, if I, instead of just going through and moving fast, sometimes that pause can save a life. And I say that because think about somebody who was about to hit the gas going through a light, and, it's green for you, that somebody ran that red light. If I would have just paused, if I didn't just pause at 30 seconds, I could have been hit, T-boned. So those pause moments, or what we may think is, what do we call it? Wrenches in our time, wrenches in time of our day, could actually be heaven's pause moments for you to reflect, to give thanks, because greater is coming. And I say that because every time something great is about to come, there's always got to be what we call an adversary or a fight against it, right? And so don't start speaking and agreeing with something negative. Start speaking, I'm gonna have a great day. I must really got something great coming in my life, because there's a lot of things that are trying to get in the way of my smile today. There's a lot of things that are trying to get in the way of me being encouraged today, me doing great things today. Maybe I just really need to take a moment to reflect. And again, even in the moments that are hard, it's okay to sit down, not try to push through that and go fast, especially when we talk about, things like grief. It's okay to sit down and allow yourself to feel, to reflect, so that you can get those things out in a healthy manner and grow. So that's my things. That's not what I planned today. And again, even today's topic, I was going to talk to you about something else, but this is what God put on my heart to share, that it's okay that things don't go as planned. Because when plans change, the end, the goal of the end is always better. Always better. So, and I want you to think about that. Think about somebody who had a project or a book or something that was like, oh, I was going to try to do A, B, and C. But when I got a chance to look at it again, I noticed a couple of typos, or I noticed that I could have did this better. Because reflection helps us improve, and reflection also helps us grow. But we don't get to do that if we sometimes don't have what I like to call healthy interruptions. And sometimes when things don't go as planned, it's just heaven's healthy interruption. So I want you to, still plan, get it out your head, write it out, and of course, try to follow suit. But also check your emotional response and don't start speaking, curses over yourself and complaining, um, and start getting, the good taken away from your day because you're allowing this one situation begin to linger and manifest in your speech, um, so that you start, discouraging yourself in whatever the situation may be. So thank you guys for joining tonight. And what you say, Mother Pam? Okay, just saw your comment. Complaining is a cousin to cursing. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Hi, BJ. Hi, Missy. And thank you all for joining. And I'm not sure I have any other questions. Um, yes, divine interruptions, Alex. I see that. So again, August is here, and you may have some things as this year has came up. It's what the eighth month, and we already passed half the line, and things may not have been happening like you planned it to be in January. That's okay, because where you are right now is where you're meant to be. Reflect on that and allow your heart to speak life. Don't start complaining. Don't start cursing over yourself and over your day, or even over others, because sometimes you'll complain and you'll curse. They don't never. Again, that complaint is actually a curse to somebody to tell, well, you don't never do what you're supposed to do. How is that encouraging somebody? How is that a blessing to other people? And so again, as I said to myself, this has been a reflection moment for me, that I had to make sure that I wasn't using my words to damage myself or others. So you guys have a great week, and I hope that you will take some things that I have said on tonight and apply them. If you don't hear nothing else, I want you to know that cursing and complaining is in the same family. Don't hang out with them. Do not hang out, but hang out with blessing and thanksgiving, because them are the ones that bring goodness and mercy and some great, 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 great things in your life. So you guys have a blessed, blessed week. I'll see you next time.